I would just like to share with you my testimony, that I believe that when we seek to apply our spirituality to our births, when we seek to get to know God, that He will bless us. We will overcome fear. We will grow. We will become a better person. It will help us in our relationships. It may not solve all our marital problems, but it'll help to give us an example of the unity we can have with our husband, the unity we can have with God in our strongest moments in time, because childbirth and pregnancy is a heightened time of awareness, of motivation, of seeking God's face. And I say these things to you in the name of my Savior, Jesus Christ. And I want to tell you that I wrote one day when I was searching through the book of Isaiah, reading the scriptures, talk so much about birth in Isaiah, I came to my mind a prayer from the words that were there. And that prayer is on my website, www.spiritledbirth.com. There's some great mother artwork there. Even if you're not Christian, I really think you'd like my art gallery. Some really, really, I think it's one of the few galleries dedicated to motherhood, breastfeeding. And so I took that prayer and made it into a song. And I know that our unborn child feels the Spirit of God when they're in our womb, and that through singing and reading our scriptures, the baby will feel that. And I know that because during my blessing way with my fourth birth, Jenny sang to my baby. And that's probably why her singing is so special to me. And my baby, as I sat there, visibly leaped in my womb, and everyone in the room could see it. And I know that he felt her spirit and the spirit.
I did not realize this. To them, a baby being born is but a medical event that is encircled by blood and amniotic fluid and emergency. But a baby is a spiritual being becoming a physical being. Their spirituality is more present at this time than their physicality, and thus their passage into life needs to be gentle, so they are not crushed spiritually in the process. And that's the end of Mary's quote. The song I heard last Saturday made me ponder deeply about the spiritual crushing of women and babies. And again, I'll repeat part of the song. Across my home has grown the shadow of a cruel and senseless hand, though in some strong hearts the love and truth remain. And it has taken me this distance and a woman's smile to learn that my heart remains among them, and to them I must return. It is time we cast away the shadow of the cruel and senseless hand of unfounded obstetric practices and reclaim birth as the peaceful, intimate, spiritual experience it should be. We must share of our knowledge and experiences often. We must guide families to the sources of truth and away from mainstream bookstore shelves. People may balk and criticize, but we must not give up, shut up, let up, or slow down. It is a long way we have to come, and it will be slow. But as we share line upon line, precept upon precept with love and faith, people will begin to hear us. I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to speak with you today as one of the strong hearts wherein the love and truth remain.
I have to get this donut order out. You know, who am I going to give my donut order to? She was like totally not concerned that I have a baby between my legs. So, but it was enough that it just sort of added some levity to the situation. And this is what I write about too, is laughter. Laughter in labor. You know, you have all kinds of natural resources you can tap into. You can sing your babies out. You can dance them out. You can sit down and write. Hygeia Half Moon, who did a newsletter with me for 3 years, wrote all in her journal all during her labor. Whatever it is that you like to do, paint a picture, whatever helps you relax. So the laughter just kind of helped me relax. And I just remember laughing, and I said, look, I'll call you back in a few minutes or something. So I hung up the phone, and I felt the baby come in, and I took out the little bathtub, and I got down on one knee and one foot. I straddled it because that's what felt right to me that time. With my first one, it was hands and knees. With my second one, it was basically like this. With that one, it was different. And so I remember looking down, and now I didn't feel pain as she was coming out the way I had with John. And I remember looking down, and I saw her face, which is another thing I didn't realize until a few years ago. She was posterior. So I was once again telling the story, and somebody said, oh, she was posterior. Oh, well, I didn't know that. But she was looking up at me, whereas technically she was supposed to be facing the other direction. This could have been why I had more pain with her. I don't know. I think I just want to try everything. So I just have face presentation and foot, and posterior. And so somebody can say, well, what happens if the baby's this way? Well, I did it, let me tell you, So I looked down, and there was her face looking up at me, and there was the film. The water bag hadn't broke yet, so I saw this film over her face. And it was just beautiful, this image of looking at my baby with this film over her face. So, and this is where it always gets to me. I haven't talked about this birth in a while, but for some reason her birth was just such a powerful moment in my life. And I just looked at her, and the water bag broke over her face, and she just looked up at me, and I caught her. And it was like a defining moment in my life. I mean, I look at it really as, I don't mean to insult my other children, but for some reason it was just the most incredible moment of my life. And I just caught her, and she looked at me, and I felt like this incredible bond between she and I, that I felt like we were the only two people in the world. That's what was going through my mind. And I felt like she was the most beautiful gift I had ever received. I felt so thankful. And so
and you're the man actually to put up with all of this for so long. It's because he knows what it's like when you're married to a birth junkie. It's really rough, and it's not codependent. Yeah, that was the first junkie. And I also want to thank every speaker who was here today, everyone who sat and listened to it, the graciousness we all had for the children. I mean, we're doing this for the children. We want them to hear this and participate, so they'll carry this message forth. And whenever I give a talk, I'm always looking around, because I believe in the morphogenetic field theory, which is the 100th monkey. That there is a critical mass that Rico spoke of, a consciousness where you can just slip right into a paradigm that will reclaim the earth as the garden again. And when I do a talk, I'm looking, who's the 100th monkey in the group? And I think I found her today. You, Jill. I don't know. I have this feeling about it. Whatever your work or your calling, it's going to be really important in this. And I just want to validate that your openness this morning in class and how you listened here today. I mean, this is the reason, as Jenny said, we had this conference today. It's not just to sing to the choir. Basically, it's to invite those of you who are blessed with doubts, because it's through doubt that the Apostle Thomas could touch the living and loving mystery. If he didn't doubt, he would never have had that sense of knowing the incorporeal body in his own hands. And that, for me, is so important, is to honor the shadow side, our doubts, and not act as if we think we already know the whole story, because we're together writing the story today. So, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Only by faith, love conquers hatred, peace defeats war. Only by faith, joy